And welcome to another episode of the Don't Argue with the Facts podcast. I'm your host, Noah Love, and today we have some huge topics in the sports world we are going to be talking about. We are going to be talking about some college basketball. The Big Ten had a great Tuesday night. There's a great Saturday coming up nationally in college basketball. Nebraska getting their first loss. Miami of Ohio still rolling. We'll talk about all that. We'll also talk about some NBA. Giannis wanting to be traded. All of that. But we are going to start with the Hall of Fame here on the Don't Argue with the Facts podcast. We're going to start with the Hall of Fame. Eli Manning was denied for a second straight year. Kind of not shocking. I mean, if you know my stance, you know I say outside of the 2 Super Bowls, his career was kind of mid. But that's not even where we're starting. Bill Belichick is not a first ballot Hall of Famer. I repeat, Bill Belichick is not a first ballot Hall of Famer. The fact that this can even be like a thing is just absolutely egregious. It's just absolutely ridiculous. This puts a stain on the Hall of Fame. The fact that Bill Belichick is not a first ballot Hall of Famer. If Bill Belichick isn't a first ballot Hall of Famer, Bill Walsh isn't a first ballot Hall of Famer, Andy Reid isn't a first ballot Hall of Famer, Mike Shanahan isn't a first ballot Hall of Famer, Jimmy Johnson, not first ballot Hall of Famer. Who else? Who else off the top of my head? I'm really losing it. Oh, well, Vince Lombardi is not a first ballot Hall of Famer. Tom Landry's not a first ballot Hall of Famer. John Madden's not a first ballot Hall of Famer. What are we doing, America? The fact that Bill Belichick did not get 40 out of the 50 votes to become the first ballot, to not be a first ballot Hall of Famer is mind-boggling. Now, a lot of people are saying, Bill Polian, former coach GM, Bill, I love you. You're so wrong on this. He said, he was one of the voices that said, well, he should wait a year because of Spygate. If you take away Spygate, so that lasted from 2000 to 2007. If you take away Spygate, Bill has a 2 as a DC. So they won 2 rings in that time. So even if you take that away, plus the 2 he won as DC defensive coordinator for the Giants, he has 4 as a head coach, which means he has 6 in total, which means he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. No matter how you slice it, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. The fact that Bill Belichick is not a first ballot Hall of Famer is a disgrace to the Hall of Fame. It's a disgrace to the sport, and it's a stain on greatness. That is it. Bill Belichick. When the internet, all from Patrick Mahomes to LeBron James to Jimmy Johnson, when everybody, the internet can never agree on something, when they are all uniting and saying, yeah, Bill Belichick's a first ballot Hall of Famer, son, you done messed up. Bill Belichick, and this is a full-blown rant to start. This is a rant because there is no way on earth, I don't care if he wasn't nice to the media all the time. If you were going to sit up here and tell me Bill Belichick is a first ballot Hall of Famer, not a first ballot Hall of Famer, because of Spygate and Deflate, what? What? Deflategate? That was only one game, and to me, that really had no bearing on the game. I'm a Colts fan. The Colts still would have got their butts kicked because their roster wasn't good enough. Thanks, Grigson. So don't give me that. So don't give me that. And that didn't even have a bearing on them winning the Super Bowl. They didn't deflate balls in the Super Bowl. What are we doing? I hate when the media actively tries to take away somebody's greatness. They're trying. Well, Bill, this was all personal. There's no doubt in my mind. This was all personal. They did not like the way Bill Belichick talked to them or something. I know he wasn't always the best with the media, but to sit up here and try to take away that man's greatness after he wins Super Bowl after Super Bowl after Super Bowl and he goes to Super Bowl after Super Bowl after Super Bowl, that is wrong. I get it. After Brady left, it wasn't great, but that's not taking away the years before that. What are we doing? And if we're really if he has to wait a year, then are we gonna make Tom Brady wait a year for Deflategate? Because if Tom Brady's not first ballot Hall of Famer, then you got the system. Just nuke the whole system. That's where I'm at with this. Nuke the whole Hall of Fame. Nuke the whole system. Nuke it all. That's kind of where I'm at with this. I'm at my wit's end with this. And I've kind of been at my wit's end with it when T.O. wasn't a first ballot Hall of Famer. Like, that's kind of why I started to go, this process is a joke. But this is just ridiculous. Now, because you can only take one head coach per year or one coach per year. Now, somebody is going to have to wait and not be a first ballot Hall of Famer because we're going to have to vote Belichick in next year when he should have been voted in this year. Mike Shanahan next year is probably going to be screwed and have to wait because Bill Belichick, instead of being voted in this year, he has to get voted in next year. He'll most likely get voted in next year. And if he doesn't, and Mike Shanahan is a first ballot Hall of Famer, great for Shanahan, but just nuke it all. What are we doing? This is objectively the wrong decision on every level. This man has more playoff wins than multiple franchises. He has 31. Man's had 8 rings. If we are making Belichick wait, then that means, by their logic, and I don't think like this, Brady should wait, Gronkowski should wait, Sean Payton should wait. Now I think he'll wait anyways because of I don't think he's first ballot yet, and who knows, maybe he wins I don't know, but I say that because Bountygate. What, you didn't like Rodgers? Rodgers is first ballot. Is Rodgers gonna wait? If you make Aaron Rodgers wait, we got some serious issues, brah. We got some serious issues. Just because you cannot like a person, but you cannot take away their greatness and what they did on that field. Coach, player, whatever. I'm at the point, take the media's vote away. Take the media's vote away. I would be okay if only people in the Hall of Fame let the coaches do the coaches and let the players do the players. I would be completely okay with that if you could do that, because this is just ridiculous. There are so many soft and sensitive people in the media. Oh my goodness. Like, the fact that this is even a decision, the fact that this was even a thought is to say, and look, there was no valid reason not to vote for him. I do not care. You either did not like Belichick, or the reason, or Deflategate and Spygate. There's no other reason. This man, if he's not undisputed, he's in the conversation for the greatest coach ever. and he's not a Hall of Famer. He's not a first ballot Hall of Famer. Man, man, I'm gonna move on. Get out of here with that, bro. Just get out of here with that. The Pro Football Hall of Fame should be ashamed of themselves. When Deion Sanders says it's not the Hall of Fame, it's the Hall of Very Good, you see it by week. Every passing day that goes by, that statement becomes more true every single year. It's ridiculous, bro. Eli Manning denied for a second straight year. This is actually something I agree with. I look. You look at the numbers for Eli. I'm so heated right now. I mean, you look at the numbers for Eli. Look, Eli Manning, in terms of the Hall of Fame, a lot of people were like Dan Orlovsky was pushing him to be first ballot last season. I don't think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Don't think he is. This year, I was a little surprised he didn't get it. It says the longtime former New York Giants quarterback fell short of making the cut into the Hall of Fame again this year, marking his second straight time falling short as one of the 15 modern era finalists. Manning is generally expected to eventually earn his way into the Hall of Fame, though the topic is often debated. There are plenty who think he should. He currently ranks 11th in both career passing yards and career passing touchdowns in league history. He won 2 Super Bowls during his 16 seasons with the Giants, and the 4-time Pro Bowler was 2016 Walter Payton Man of the Year too. Manning finished with a 117 overall record with the Giants. Okay, so basically, again, outside 2 rings, and look, I'm not taking those away. That's to his legacy, but he was mediocre. No MVPs. Like, he was mediocre. No MVPs. 500 record. Only made the Pro Bowl 4 times in 16 seasons. Like, if you just went off the top of your head, I go, I go Brady, I go Peyton, I go Breeze, I go Rogers, I go Rivers, I go Roethlisberger. So that's just 6 off the top of my head. So off the top of my head, he's already the 7th best quarterback. I think Stafford is better. I believe that. So what now? He's like what? At bare minimum, he's the 8th best quarterback of that time. And honestly, Favre as well, so he's 9th. So at best, he's the 9th best quarterback in his era. It's a debate if he's even top 10 in his era. And you're trying to tell me Hall of Fame, look, it's him and Breeze on the ballot. Nobody is not a lot of people are taking Manning over Eli over Breeze. That's just not happening. So what? He was probably the 9th, maybe the 9th. Maybe there's somebody missing there. I'm not sure. I don't think I am, but just off the top of my head, like I I just think he'll get in next year. If he doesn't get in next year, then okay, what is happening here? Because he does have 2 rings and I believe 2 Super Bowl MVPs, and he does have the greatest upset in NFL history. Sorry, Joe Namath. Like, that's the greatest upset. See, Patriots were probably going to be crowned the best team ever, and he stopped them. So, yeah. Look, Eli doesn't get in. I'm for a second straight year. I'm not really heated. Some people are. I've seen a mix. See, this is the thing. When you are on the line and you are on the edge, you can justify Eli being out and you can justify him being in. Belichick, you can't justify him being out. There's no reasonable argument for him being out. He is literally the greatest coach ever. Man, before I work myself back on, let's just move on to some college basketball talk because I'm so done with the Hall of Fame. I, I give up. I give up. I quit. Uh, okay, let's talk about some college basketball here. Um, had a very busy Tuesday and Wednesday night. It's been a great week of basketball, honestly, just in general. The Big Ten had a great night on Tuesday night. Nebraska finally got the first loss to Michigan. Nebraska, to me, is the best story in college basketball. And and look, without Mass, and I believe that one of their other guards was out, but Mass was the big one. He's so big to what they do. They only lost to three at Michigan, who Michigan really, before, really during the year, they didn't look human. They looked like clearly the best team. And I say that because they're killing teams by 30 plus points. And now look, they lost. They had a close game versus Penn State, and then they lost to Wisconsin. And after that loss, they've been looking human ever since. Even though that's their only loss, they've been playing closer games. Michigan, Michigan, great team win. They didn't shoot the ball well. It wasn't one of their better shooting nights. I and to and to be fair, like Nebraska, they hit 11 threes, right? And it wasn't one of their best shooting nights either. I think what makes Michigan so tough is they can beat you in so many different ways. They can score 90 and beat you. They can win a defensive battle in the 60s. They can win a grinded out game. They can win a game like this where you necessarily they don't play their best. And I know obviously Nebraska had a couple guys out, but two guys out that were starters, but you don't necessarily play well or shoot well either, and then you find a way to win. To me, their tournament aspirations are going to rely on Elliot Cadeau. He's got to play better, yo. He has 7 points. He has 7 assists. He had 8 turnovers. That can't happen if you are the point guard. That they are lucky they won this game. They're a little bit lucky they won this game. That will get you beat. Being just dead real, that will get you beat against a great team. I do still think Michigan can win the national championship. I think they're that. I think they're that talented. I think they're that good. I think Dusty May's that good of a coach. Obviously, he's already been to a Final Four with Florida Atlantic. So, yeah, I think Nebraska can compete with anybody in the country the way they play. Yeah, it shall be interesting down the stretch here. I know Nebraska, this Big Ten title race in general. I mean, down the stretch of this, they have Illinois, who, by the way, Illinois is why hot. Illinois is hotter than any team in the country right now. Right now, Illinois is a dangerous team with their guard play and the way they can stretch you out with the bigs, and they're able to shoot. They go to Nebraska, which they've again Illinois' only Big Ten loss is at Nebraska is at home against Nebraska earlier in the year. So Nebraska plays them. Then they've got Rutgers on the road. Then they got Purdue, who's been sliding, and then they get a they get a couple unranked teams in the stretch. Although at Iowa and at USC will be some tough ones. But yeah, look, I mean Nebraska here. I mean, look, this Big Ten title race. You got Michigan at 9-1. You got Nebraska at 9-1. You got Michigan State at 9-1. You got Illinois at 8-1. If Illinois wins tonight, you got a four-way tie there. So, hey, this Big Ten title race is really going to be interesting. Michigan State had to come back against Rutgers. I mean, this league, man. obviously it's the league I watch the most but this league sometimes it just I don't know how many teams are gonna get for the NCAA tournament. I I I really don't. I think they'll probably get 9 or 10. 10, probably maybe 10 or 11. I mean, it really depends on what USC and Indiana do. And obviously it depends on UCLA in the bubble. UCLA 7-3. I'm in the conference. They won last night. Yeah. So look, we will we will see. Now let's go to Indiana and them upsetting Purdue and Indiana probably saving their season. They haven't hurt themselves, but they also haven't helped themselves. They didn't have a quad one win. They have one now, which is huge at home against Purdue. They had lost 4 in a row against really good teams. They beat Rutgers and now you beat Purdue here. And you're feeling a little bit some. You are now 14-7, 5-5 in the conferences. You got a couple games here coming up where you got to win. I thought Nick Dorn was the difference. I thought his shooting made the massive difference. He had 18 points. Ever since they've put him in the starting lineup, I mean, Nick Dorn has felt like he couldn't miss. I really thought the bigs in this game for Indiana, like Ree Bailey, I thought in the 26 minutes, 9 points. I thought he played well, great aggression. I think Indiana rebounding the basketball in this game was real key. Not getting out rebounded. Purdue is a team with a lot of size. I mean, the rebounds, when you only get out rebounded by 5, that's huge. Against a team when you are undersized, against a team that has 2 7-footers with Kaufman Wren and Oscar Clough like Purdue does. So I think that was huge. I also thought Connor Enright, the big three he hit, 8 assists, the defense he played was was massive in this game. Purdue just has not looked like the same team since the visit to really they survived at USC really, but since the visit where they lost to UCLA and they were up there and they couldn't finish it. Fletcher Lawyer's got to shoot the ball better if they want to win. Plain and simple. He's got to be better. This is it. That's what this is. He's got to be better. Now look, the Illinois game, the defense still consider. Look, when Keaton Wagler, the freshman, able to do what he did, and then look, they just spread them out. Like Illinois hit 18 threes in that game, right? They just, even though from an offensive perspective, like Purdue was great in the game, Illinois just spread them out, and it was really tough for Clough and Kaufman Wren to get out there. And they just put Clough in pick and roll situations. And it's tough. Look, Painter and Co. are going to have to adjust. But also, guys are going to have to play better. Braden Smith was not at his best against IU. Now, he was at his best against Illinois, and they still lost. Obviously, Fletcher Lawyer has not been at his best. They have to get more production from the bench. Indiana was the tougher team for 40 minutes. That's ultimately what it came down to. And yeah, look, Indiana right squarely on the bubble. With this win, puts them on the right side of the bubble. Obviously, they got some games coming up that they need to win against some unranked opponents, but you like what you're seeing. Some more college basketball talk. Can somebody explain to me what is the SEC? Texas A&M is current, who nobody is talking about. Nobody now. Granted, in terms of the teams that they've played, they haven't played the upper echelon, the Florida, in the Alabama, like in the Vandies, like they'll play tougher games coming into February, and we'll see how good they are. But Texas A&M, it right now is number one in the standings. After that, it's Arkansas. We know how good Arkansas is, and they've been really great home. Then it's Florida, who it looked like has found something. Uh, they're just playing better basketball. And then you got Vandy, who they had a bad stretch. There they were 16-0, then they dropped 3 in a row. Now they've won 2 in a row. There. I mean, this conference is just so odd, and like they can beat you can beat anyone any given night in this conference. Like to me, like, what is Kentucky? I genuinely ask that. What is Kentucky? You have a bunch of comebacks. You win 4 in a row. Then you go to Vandy and you get stomped. What is Kentucky? What is Auburn? Now Auburn's won 4 in a row here, and they're starting to find it here. Obviously, on the road at Florida was great. We'll see. They play Tennessee on the road, and Tennessee's a really good team, and Tennessee's a decent team, but Todd Pettiford didn't have a good night last night, but they were carried by Hall and Overton. So Auburn, they're a weird one. The SEC this year, it's nowhere near as strong as last year, but still a very good conference. It's a funky conference as well. Like Missouri, 14-4-4. Like they beat Florida early in the season, but then they lose to Ole Miss. Like it's a funk. They survive against Oklahoma. They get clobbered by Alabama. It's a funky conference this year. I don't really know. If I had to bet somebody winning that conference, I'd bet Arkansas because I guess out of all the teams, they probably look the best. But even Arkansas at times, it's just like you have the Auburn game and you're like, what is going on? The Georgia game. But then look, they've rattled off 3 or 4 straight. They play Kentucky at home, which again, when those two teams play, it's always highly emotional environment, so that should be fun. But it's just I don't know. The SEC is kind of weird to me this year. You also got the Big East. Look, at best, this is a 3 big conference, maybe 4. Seton Hall is up and down. I think St. John's obviously look it in terms of the league. It's between UConn and St. John's, so either they share or one of them wins it outright. I think they play twice, once or twice this year, so we'll see. I know one of them's coming up at the Garden on a Friday night. Villanova's a good team. I think they'll be in the big dance. Shout out to Kevin Willard. And they took UConn to the wire, and they almost beat St. John's. Look, as long as they win the games they're supposed to win in this league, they'll easily be in the NCAA tournament. Seton Hall, they play a very good defensive brand of basketball. They've been up and down. You lose to Butler, you lose to DePaul, but you beat Georgetown, you beat Creighton. I mean, they obviously went to Maui early in the season and they won that third place game, but yeah, I mean, look, in terms of Big East, like there's nothing there. It may be it may get 4 bids depending on Seton Hall. I think at best it gets. I think at best it gets 4, minimum probably 2, and Villanova. I'll give it minimum 3 actually because I do think Villanova gets in, but yeah, it's not. UConn's really good. UConn, they're a national title contender. They only have one loss overall, and that one loss was to Arizona, who is the best team in college basketball. But they're UConn's undefeated when they have all their players because they have a couple players that came in, they won, and they lost to Arizona. So I don't know. Look, I think UConn, they've had a lot of close ones. It feels like they are begging someone to beat them, and it also feels like at times they go too cold and into these offensive droughts. It's just, I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting. Let's go to the ACC as well. What the ACC is a very great league right now. Duke is probably going to win the league. I think Clemson's very good. They obviously had a loss to NC State. It's a better league than what it was a year ago. Uh, I think Virginia Tech's a good team. I think North Carolina's going. Obviously, North Carolina's going to be a tournament team. I think North Carolina State's probably going to end up being a tournament team. Same thing with Miami, Virginia. Virginia, obviously, Ryan Odom's got them playing good basketball. You obviously have your Duke Blue Devils and Shire. It's just, I think Duke wins the league, but that's an interesting league as well. Now, Miami of Ohio. I want to talk about really in I can lump St. Louis in here too. Miami of Ohio is 21-0. That's the best start in MAC history. Shout out to Miami of Ohio. Last year, if you remember, they had a chance to go to the tournament, lost that game against, I believe it was Akron, and and obviously they didn't end up going to the tournament. This year, Miami of Ohio, could it be, if somebody bid steals? Is it a 2-bid MAC league? I don't know. But I do know Miami of Ohio, they've had a couple close calls, but they just continued to win. They've dominated some games, and then they've had a couple close calls. The last 3 games, I mean, 2 of them go to overtime and they win. And then obviously you have the one against UMass a couple nights ago where UMass half court shot to win the game, no good. I mean, Miami of Ohio's been tested, but they just keep continuing to win. St. Louis, they have that one loss, and that was because Stanford beat them on a big time like corner 3. They could be undefeated as well. So look, it's a good year right now for the mid majors. A10, MAC, it's great. Obviously, right now, college basketball's at its best. I'm recording this on Thursday night. In terms of top 25, Iowa State plays tonight. They're a team that was undefeated. Then they hit kind of a rough patch. They're 18-2. They're still fine. Illinois plays again. Obviously, on Friday night, you're going to have Michigan State, which is going to be great, which we can talk about tomorrow. And then Saturday, you have a lot of great games. But BYU and Kansas, we can talk about Darren Peterson and AJ DeBansta. We will be there no matter what. That's going to be amazing. But yeah, now going to the NBA, Giannis. We'll finish up on this. Giannis wants to be traded. At this point, The Bucks have messed this up beyond proportion. He's hurt now. There's no timetable for his return. I believe it's a calf strain. Well, I mean, they've messed it. I mean, this roster isn't good. This roster is not good. You're seeing it. The Bucks just need to go ahead and trade him or tank or do both. You either trade him now or you trade him in the offseason. It was hilarious how people thought Milwaukee was going to be like this top 4 seed. Oh, the East are going to have the best player in the East. I'm like, this roster's not good. And it takes more than one player. You have, in this new day and age of the NBA, you have to have depth. They don't have that. You also have to have pretty decent role players around him. They're again, without Giannis, it's bad. It's bad. Again, they lost to the Denver Nuggets, and the Nuggets didn't have Jokic, Murray, Gordon. Like it was hilariously bad performance there. And look, it's all gone downhill ever since they fired Adrian Griffin when they were 30-13. Again, where does he go? I don't know. There, people are going to be talking. We'll see by the February 5th deadline. I have no idea. But yeah, this has been an episode of the Don't Argue with the Facts podcast. Please like, comment, share. Oh, I'll actually give you my prediction on where he goes. I do think he goes, if he gets traded, he is a Miami Heat player. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And until the next time, see ya.